Alright, let's try this again. Blue-black mill, see if we can pull off some victories here. Well, we finally got a free archive. Oh, we gotta wait for it to resolve. I see. They technically haven't searched their library yet. I jumped the gun a bit. We get to play... Oh, Faithless. Oh, boy. Well, we're gonna cast Archive Trap. Well, they're playing a Dredge deck. Interesting. How many cards are in their graveyard? 17. So we can't quite Visions for full value yet. And they're going to get back a bunch of Blood Gas. So I think we just go land into Jace's Phantasm. This should be a good matchup. We have so many ways to exile things from graveyards. And they dredge back something. Get a million Blood Gas. Crypt Incursion should be good in this matchup. So they're back to 17 cards in their graveyard. Which means we are really close to being able to full value Visions. Our opponent goes with Smallpox. So we are going to discard... I guess Thought Scour. Our opponent discards Dark Blast. We gotta sacrifice a creature, sacrifice a land. Well, now we could use just an island would be sweet. Terramorphic. Well, I guess we go with Shelldock Isle here. I guess we'll put the Mind Funeral underneath there. And hopefully next turn, as long as our opponent doesn't have another untapped Black Source into another Smallpox, which is already 2 in the graveyard. Ghost Quarter. Alright, Ghost Quarter's fine. We have plenty of basics to search up. We're going to take 4. But Crypt Incursion is still going to be awesome, I think. You know, maybe not awesome, but it should be okay. Our opponent's going to Ghost Quarter it for no real reason. Yes, we'll use it. Get an island. This is actually pretty awesome, because now we get to Visions right now. And draw a bunch more cards, including another Visions. So now we can play another Visions. Play an island in a Jace's Phantasm. Pass the turn. Next turn we can like double Thought Scour plus search for a swamp. And then we'll have Crypt Incursion online for the turn after that. Plus, we wouldn't mind having some Blood Gas in the graveyard when we Crypt Incursion. This just feels like a miserable matchup for our opponent. If we don't win this one, I'm gonna start to get worried. We just have so much incidental hate, and our deck lines up so well against their deck. Breaking Entering. So, Thought Scour is an instant. I guess we just play Terramorphic to find a swamp and pass the turn. I think we stay on defense for now. If our opponent attacks and doesn't have a land, oh, Crypt Incursion is going to probably just end the game on the spot. But they might have a land. A land isn't the most isn't the most unlikely thing for our opponent to have. Raven's Crime to make us discard a card. I guess we'll just discard a Thought Scour. Oh boy. Alright. Well, Crypt Incursion should be pretty good here. We can Thought Scour, targeting our opponent. Visions from Beyond to draw a bunch of cards. And then how do we want to do this? Hedron Crab, land. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll just go Hedron Crab into Swamp, milling our opponent. And Crypt Incursion for the win, I believe. Gets rid of so much stuff. Now we get to actually just start attacking with Phantasm, and we might actually just win by beats here. Although we can still mill a lot of cards. Not too scared about a Bloodghast anymore, now that we're at 24 life. Well, I think if you're expecting a lot of Dredge in your meta, this is probably about the best deck you can play. So we get to bring in... Oh, poor Dredge player. We get to bring in 4 Ravenous Traps. And if we want to, 4 Surgical Extractions. What are we getting rid of? We can get rid of the Doomblades. I don't think we really need the removal. Do we want to get rid of... If our plan's on exiling our opponent's graveyard, maybe Jace's Phantasm isn't that great. And we just go full on mill our opponent and exile the stuff that we mill and plan on winning that way. Let's give it a shot. It seems reasonable on paper that that would be a good strategy in this matchup. His hand's fine. So now the thing is, Ravenous Trap we can cast for free. So basically, if our opponent goes fetch land into Faithless Looting, we just get to exile all the cards that go into their graveyard. And we can even do it like in response. Oh, an Archive Trap. Man, this is going to be a sweet turn. Alright, we're just going to go Island. Yeah, we're just going to go Island here, I think. So if our opponent cracks the fetch, we can go Dream Twist, Archive Trap, Ravenous Trap. And that might get the concession on right now. So wait for our opponent to search their library. We could have played the crab, but I wanted to mill as much as possible if we're using our Ravenous Trap. So we can go Dream Twist here. Archive Trap. There's a Bloodghast. 2 Bloodghasts. Yeah, that's enough to Ravenous Trap. And then Ravenous Trap. Oh, also a Squee. And we're off to a good start. Oh, our poor opponent. Bloodstained Mire. I guess Smallpox is fine. Puts us down a land, slows us down a bit. Or Bloodghast. Oh, Surgical Extraction. So we'll go Hedron Crab, Terramorphic. Now if our opponent, if they mill something we're worried about, we can always Extraction it. Zombie Infestation. Interesting. Crack Terramorphic. Get a Swamp, I guess. And mill our opponent some more. We can extract that last Bloodghast. Also Life on the Loam. Yeah, I guess we should. See what's going on with our opponent. Get rid of the Bloodghast. What's left in the library? Vengeful Pharaoh, bunch of Jund Charms, Lootings, Dark Blasts that can conflagrate, Loams, lands. Our opponent commented that, wow, this is rough, and I think our opponent is correct. Oh my god. I got distracted by our opponent talking to us. Oh no. And maybe our opponent just next leveled me. I got distracted by the conversation, forgot to exile the Bloodghast, and now we might actually be sort of in trouble. As odd as that sounds. Well, that was embarrassing. Maybe taking out all of our creatures isn't a good plan. Yep, there's smallpox. Guess we discard Trapmaker Snare. Crab, and I guess the Swamp. And our opponent gets back both Bloodghast. Yeah, that is going to end up being a very costly punt. Oh, the distractions. Alright. So maybe this wasn't the correct sideboard plan. I knew there was a reason that I never talk to opponents during matches on Moto. And that's a good reminder. Because now I think we just lose. I mean, I guess we don't just lose, but we likely lose. Opponent gets to dredge back a bunch of lands. Or return a bunch of lands. Well, we can flash back our Dream Twist. Yeah. I'm not sure this is going to work out. Opponent flashes back Faithless Looting. I guess we're just going to Ravenous Trap everything. Maybe we just get rid of the Crypt Incursions. That's probably the smarter thing to do. He doesn't have that many creatures, and Ravenous Trap kind of does the same thing. And Surgical Extraction on Bloodghast is very, very good. Yep, now we're dead. Ugh. Well, I think that punt did hurt us. That doubled the clock by not exiling that Bloodghast, but I think the sideboarding plan was off. I think we need to get rid of Crypt Incursions. And do we want to bring in Jace's Phantasm or Dismember? Dismember lets us kill a Bloodghast from the battlefield and then potentially Surgical Extraction it, which sounds good. Maybe we try it like that. That way if they just like hard cast a turn 2 Bloodghast, we can Dismember, kill Bloodghast, exile it with Surgical Extraction. I don't know. We're on the play this time. Let's see. Hopefully we get a sweet hand. Well, kinda sweet. Also, very land heavy. I think we'll just play an island. We'll see. Those fetch lands will be nice if we draw a Headrun Crab. Well, I think we're going to Archive Trap here. Whether or not we Ravenous Trap is up for debate. Oh, and looting. Dark Nest, looting. Alright, so we Archive Trap. See what we hit. There is a Bloodghast. Also Raven's Crime. Carry Brown Scale, Squee. Yeah, I think we just do it. Now I think we're just going to play Terramorphic and pass. Didn't draw a crab yet. We could cast Breaking Entering, but then we're potentially helping our opponent, which we'd rather not do. It would be nice if we could find a Surgical Extraction or something first. Another looting for our opponent. Pitches Abrupt Decay, Tech Edge. So we're just going to crack our Terramorphic for Swamp, I think. Don't mind having double black for Dismember. Well, now we have all the black in the world. It is kind of a lot of lands. We only play 20. We fetched one. Hopefully we end up drawing some more action here. I guess the nice thing about sideboarding in like Ravenous Trap, if you think about it, we're not really lowering our amount of mill. We're getting rid of other things. So I guess that makes it reasonable. What does our opponent have for 3 mana? Flashback looting. So we only got 1 Bloodghast. So there will be more to come eventually. Crab wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't mind a crab. Ooh, man. Well, maybe it's time to just go for it. I mean, this is going to give our opponent a bunch of fuel in the graveyard, but also has potential to mill a lot of cards. Not as many as I was hoping for. And it did give our opponent a Dredge card and a Bloodghast. But we are to the point where we are one mill card away from winning. Like 1 Archive Trap. Probably even another copy of Mind Funeral. So we're pretty close. I think we're just going to keep cracking our Evolving Wilds now. Both because we don't mind getting more blue mana, and because we want to thin down our deck and try to hit something that actually matters. I mean, really, basically any non-land card is good at this point. So Bloodghast comes back. We knew that was going to happen. What else does our opponent have? Oh, just casts a Golgari Brown Scale. Speeds up the clock a bit. Still, 5 turns. You got to be able to hit something in the next 5 turns, right? So we get an island this time. And we can also dismember something. Thought Scour. Alright, so I guess we will Thought Scour our opponent. Another Terramorphic. Play the Terramorphic. Opponent's going to be able to get back another Bloodghast. Well, I think we just pass for now. And plan on killing the Golgari Brown Scale. It's risky for our opponent to keep dredging. Now we're to the point where even another Breaking and Entering wins the game for us. Basically any of our good mill cards wins the game. And we can't have too many lands left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've used almost half of our lands. What does our opponent have here? Jund Charm to put counters on his Brown Scale. Alright, well, in response, we're going to just dismember that. Hopefully we don't draw a Ravenous Trap. That's one card that we don't especially want. So we'll take 2, Sacrifice our Terramorphic. Come on, any mill card. Just get an island. Visions from Beyond would be alright. Any, or another land. Our opponent could Raven's Crime us. Should we just pass? We can Breaking Entering, but that could hit our opponent their last Bloodghast, which we'd like to avoid. Yeah, I think we'll just pass for now. Man. Hopefully we don't whiff enough to actually lose this game. That would be a bummer. We have a lot more draw steps at the moment. I guess Vengeful Pharaoh would actually speed up the clock quite a bit. Dream Twist does it now. Breaking and Entering. Alright, we found it. We got there. So we get to cast Breaking. Get to cast Breaking. And that should do it. And I hope Bloodghast and Vengeful Pharaoh were the bottom two cards. Whew! Alright, so we can beat Dredge. Even despite my punt in game 2. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So we got there, finally. Alright, I'll be back.